Hello, welcome Agile friends. My name is Vasco, and we have with us for this session of the Agile Online Summit someone I've been wanting to talk to for a long time, Alan Holub. Hey, Alan,
Hey,
welcome to the summit.
thanks.
So, Alan is a long-time proponent of NoEstimates. If you haven't checked it out yet, please check his LinkedIn page. The link is in the video description below. He's also a consultant and a trainer, and you could check his public classes on his training page, which, of course, the link is in the description below. So check it out. Now, before we dive into NoEstimates and talk with Alan about it, let me tell you that there are some other very interesting sessions in the Agile Online Summit as well. For example, we have Jürgen Apello talking about how complex problems can only be solved by simple systems that evolve to fix those complex problems. So check it out. All the sessions are at agileonlinesummit.com. But now it's time to focus on our guest speaker and the topic for this session. So Alan, I invited you because you published a post recently on LinkedIn where you talked about budgets and you basically said, people got budgets wrong. It's a lot less about project cost and a lot more about how to maximize the value and the use of your team's time on producing that value. Can you unpack that idea a bit more for us?
Um, there's a lot to unpack. Let's start with the notion of project cost, right? Is that I don't really believe that the whole idea of a project is useful in software development. Is that
Amen.
projects are one of those things that come from, 19th century manufacturing thinking. And the problem with the project is that a project has a beginning and it has an end and it's well defined. And when people budget a project, in order to do that, they have to, first of all, define the project quite specifically up front. And then they have to create enough details to be able to create an estimate, right? And as well as certainly, but as we all know, um, those details are a waste of time because as soon as you start building, you discover things that render the original plan useless and you have to change the plan. And if the thing that you are building is changing as you learn, then an estimate is going to have to change also. And the estimate then becomes a very dynamic thing, but that is itself a problem because we get into the realm of lean rework waste. Is that, in other words, if you create an estimate that's wrong, you've wasted a lot of time creating a wrong estimate. And then if you spend time updating that estimate to what you know now, well, first of all, you've wasted time doing that too, because it's going to be wrong also. But secondly, you've really lost, you've got a 3x hit here, right? Time spent doing an estimate that doesn't work, right? Time rebuilding the estimate, and then the opportunity cost of what you would have been able to do with that time if you weren't wasting it building estimates that you're going to throw out. So you've lost on pretty much every front here. So the whole idea of a project, though, when you're talking about this big upfront spec that you're estimating, is going to lead to nothing but waste. And it also, the other problem with projects is that they're divorced from the product usually, is that they are a standalone, typically a small chunk of something that may or may not actually be, well, let's say may or may not actually lead to increased revenue, which is our point, right? We're running businesses here. So if it doesn't go to revenue, then it's not.
So,
Then
so
we
you're
haven't
basically
achieved it.
saying that project is kind of a
Right.
bet.
A project is, yeah, it's definitely a bet, but it's a bet that some isolated corner of a larger system will help the larger system. And that's almost always a losing bet because you have to be focusing on the system as a whole. Is that as soon as you start focusing on pieces of the system, you lose track of the forest through the trees, and um, it just leads to bad places. It's not really, you can't plan effectively for the product as a whole if you're thinking in terms of individual projects.
And one of the things that I wanted to pick up on when we think about, okay, so a project is sort of a bet that a small change or sometimes a big change will have like a big impact sometimes a long time in the future. That also brings another problem, which is that now everything depends on the project delivering the benefits that it should, that it was designed to deliver, but the project is designed